Is traditional content marketing and distribution dead? Discover how Marc Hirshberg's brain dump revolutionizes content marketing and distribution, ditching traditional chronological feeds for a dynamic, targeted delivery system. In this Lead Machine Growth Show episode, we explore how creating micro content and leveraging smart distribution tools can dramatically enhance content relevance and engagement. Learn from Marc how to optimize evergreen content to reach your audience at the right time, at the right place. And I'm really interested in that. Ensuring your marketing efforts drive maximum impact.
Welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show, where you will discover how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream. Paul Guyan, the mastermind behind the Lead Machine, introduces you to trailblazers who inspire you to implement life-changing solutions and systems you can model to nurture your leads and get your offers seen by your ideal clients who will invest in themselves and you. Be sure you visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, tune in and get ready to transform your vision into reality.
Welcome to the Lead Machine Growth Show. I'm Paul Guyan, your host, lead machine coach and founder of the Lead Machine Marketing Agency and Mastermind. I'm dedicated to helping you tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream. So whether you're just starting out or looking to take your business to the next level, let's get this conversation started and turn your dreams into reality. Marc Herschberg is the visionary creator of Brain Bump and the author of the Career Toolkit, Essential Skills for Success That No One Ever Taught You. He's an illustrious career spent at the intersection of startups, Fortune 500 companies, and academia. He's not only a serial entrepreneur, but also an educator who played a pivotal role in starting the undergraduate Practice Opportunities program at MIT, known as the Career Success Accelerator. His innovative approach to education and content creation led him to develop Brain Bump, a cutting-edge platform designed to enhance how we consume and retain information across various media. His work extends beyond professional pursuits. He is actively involved in numerous nonprofits and currently serves on the board of Plant a Million Corals. Today, Marc continues to influence the tech and educational landscapes with his forward-thinking solutions and commitment to facilitating lifelong learning. Just join us as we discuss the future of content marketing and explore how technology like Brain Bump is reshaping our interaction with information in the digital age. So, Marc, thank you for coming today. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, pleasure's mine. So, Brain Bump, I like the name. That's really like Brain Bump. We need a Brain Bump, I think. There's so much data out there, so much to consume. And, when I'm consuming content, I just go, God, unless I show up to something live, I have trouble keeping up with it and going, do I really need to have that content or not? And it's here and it's gone. So how does that micro content that we just talked about and brain dump help with that? Help us get more focused on the content that we really need to consume.
Sure. And first, credit goes to Alexandra Watkins. She is a branding and naming expert, and it was using her methodology that I came up with the name Brain Bump. The original name, I'm not even going to say it was not good, but a better name really helps.
Wordsmith experts really help, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
So much. Huge impact.
Yeah.
So let's talk about current channels and where they work and where they fail. And then we'll understand how a tool like Brain Bump, the tool itself, or alternatives really fill that gap. For
sure.
most people, their existing channels tend to be email and social media. But we can even expand that to podcasts like this and blogs. And these are all great channels. They're not going away, but they all have one thing in common. They are ordered chronologically. Your emails are listed generally in order by time, most recent first. Social media, obviously there's a feed and things fall off the back end. Blogs and podcasts have an RSS feed and they show the most recent first. Now, this is great for news. It's good for things like email because generally we want to pay attention to the more recent emails. The emails from a year ago, not as relevant to me today. Keep them saved somewhere. But this does not work for evergreen content. This is where it comes up short. And so when you think about content, often from thought leaders or other content type businesses, now this might be a parenting expert, a leadership coach, someone who's giving you marketing tips. This is evergreen content that it doesn't change in 6 months. Yes, marketing evolves a little and leadership was maybe a little different where I said, how do we do this under COVID? But for the most part, what we said 5 years ago, 10 years ago, applies today and applies in the future.
Yeah.
So here's the problem. When you post on social media or send out an email to your mailing list this afternoon, you blast something out, it's 3:00. Well, half your audience doesn't see it. They're not on social media that day. They're too busy. Their inbox is cluttered. Delete, delete, delete. Even the people who see it, okay, I'm scrolling. I see your great leadership tip. Go, wonderful tip, but not now because I don't have a team to lead. I'm trying to raise money and then I'm trying to get clients and then I'm trying to hire people. And a year from now, when I say now I have a leadership problem, now I need that advice, I'm not scanning through your old social media. I'm not digging through your old emails saying, wait, what if? And so we had a disconnect from when you offered it to when I need it. And that's the current problem with current channels.
Gotcha. And so how did, first of all, you have a solution to that, obviously, and because we've talked before we started recording. So you've developed a system where users can get that information on demand. How does that work, and how does it get into that platform, or how does that work?
I think of this as full media. Now, when we look at email, when we look at social media, this is push media. We push it out, throw it against the wall, see what sticks.
Mhm.
And we know, well, only a certain percentage of people will get it. But what if we could let the audience pull what is relevant when it is relevant? And this way you always have resonance. They always get the information they want when and where they want it. That is a win for them, and it's a win for your brand. Now, there's multiple ways to do it. We do it with my app. And to your question, how does the content get in there? Unlike other tools out there, we give the IP owners full control. I've spoken to a lot of authors and they hate the book summary apps that summarize their information. They do so incorrectly and hurt their brand. We say,
Mhm.
you, the content owner, you control what information is in there and you market that works for your brand. So the app itself, think of it as a cross between a flashcard app and a daily affirmation app. So the content creator, an author, speaker, blogger, podcaster, course creator, someone with content will put key ideas into the app. If you're reading a book, imagine you went through with a highlighter. Oh, I want to remember this. That's a good quote. That's a good point. It's
Mm.
that type of bite-sized content that all goes into the app on the server, and they are tagged by topic. Think like hashtags on social media.
Mhm.
By having that tagging, we don't order it chronologically, and we let the app user, your audience, control what, when, and where. So here's 2 simple modes of use. One is I've got networking tips in my book. Where do you read it? Sitting at home. Where do you need those tips? 2 months later at a conference, and you're not carrying my book with you. So what if as you're walking into the conference, you pull out the app, you open it, you tap networking as a topic, and instantly there are all the networking tips from my book, from other books, from speakers, from blogs, from whatever sources you want, right there. And you take 2 minutes to flip through them right before you walk into the conference where you need those tips. So that's a just-in-time access.
Gotcha.
The other, it's like a daily affirmation. So you might be saying, I'm a new manager. Okay, there's a lot to remember. I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading books. Boy, I have to remember a lot. What if every day at 9 a.m. I set up a management tip So whereas I walk to the office, I don't even have to open the app. It just pops up on my phone. Oh, here's a tip. Somebody, oh, right, good tip. Swipe, done. 2 seconds a day. Maybe every Wednesday at 2:55 p.m., you get a strategy tip because Wednesday, 3 p.m. is your strategy meeting. So you're getting it just in time. And then maybe you're trying to be a better parent. So every day at 6 p.m., whereas you go home, you get the parenting tip. The key here is that if you got the parenting tip at 10 a.m., your brain says good tip, but I've got 3 meetings and 100 emails between now and when I need that. Get out of here. You're cluttering my mind. And if you get that management tip at 7 at night, your brain says, I got to finish dinner, put the kids to sleep, do the dishes. I've got so many things before I need that advice to apply tomorrow. So by letting the user, the end user who's using the app in this case, control what information is relevant at what time, you always get resonance. It's a win for the app user, and it's associated with your brand. So your brand gets the win. Now, that's how you can do it with the app. There's other ways we can look at doing this as well, even without the app.
Yeah, and I've used similar apps, like Evernote is one of those apps, and they keep changing the interface, and it really bothers me because they have a tab that says reminders, and I have things that remind me that I do every day, that I'm going to check them off the list, and then I'll reschedule them for the next day or for the next month on that day. And so one of the downsides I see with this kind, and I've worked in IT for many, many years, and the user who's responsible for categorizing the stuff, they're lazy.
No, they're not.
No?
So, yeah. So here you mentioned Evernote. Now we are different from tools like Evernote in 2 ways. And Evernote is a great app.
Yeah.
Use it if it suits your need. 2 important differences. Tools like Evernote are really designed for putting content in. They're not optimized for getting the content out. And that's a shortcoming. Now, again, they're great for note-taking. If you're going into a meeting and need to take notes, use that. BrainBump is not optimized for your own personal note-taking because of the second feature, which is that while you can add your own notes, you can add them in one at a time by hand and categorize them. We work with the content creators, the authors, podcasters, speakers, and others. They put the content in and they provide the categorization and tagging. So you as an app user can download the completely free app and you get the tips completely free. They are all tagged for you completely free. You do not have to do any work. Everything's free. Just download the app and say, I need leadership tips. There are the leadership tips. You need marketing tips. Get the ones tagged marketing. They come to you. All the work is done for you.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And what I was getting to was from the content creator's perspective. There's so much content. They have so much content, and they've got, like, this is going to be a 30, 40-minute episode, and there's going to be some nuggets in here, I'm sure, that would be useful to some people. So how does the content creator streamline that process so that they're enticed and they want to get their content indexed and created in this? So what's in it for them, and how do we make it easy for them?
I apologize for jumping the gun after you said
That's okay.
Evernote. I was thinking you're from the app side. So for a content creator, great question. We are asking the content creator to do the work because that means all your audience does no work.
Yeah.
The way I think of it is similar to social media. You might be saying, I'm going to do a post a week on social media, and that's going to take you maybe about a minute or 2 per post. Let me come up with something, or I'll go through my book or my blogs or my episode and pull that out and I put onto social media, and you're doing a minute or so per week. What we're doing is saying, front load that, do a little more work up front, but then you don't have to do any incremental work each week. So here's an example. When you take an episode like this, we're going to have a couple really good takeaways, a couple quotes, that's maybe a few sentences each. Now, you might by hand pull that out. You might also use lots of tools. There's plenty of tools, AI tools or other services. Pod Intelligence, for example, is a great tool that's just going to pull out exactly what you need. It says, okay, here's 5, 10 quotes. Some of those you might say, I don't like those, but the 2 or 3 you like, you can post on social media. But now that you have the quote extracted, you just put into a spreadsheet, and that spreadsheet gets uploaded onto the server, and we do the rest. And so if
I
you
gotcha.
have, for example, a back catalog of episodes, so for each episode each week, it's that 60 seconds to pull out some quotes, put on the server. Now, if you have a back catalog of episodes, or you have a book, for example, you'll spend a certain amount of time to pull it out. Books, for example, what we tell people, if you have a Kindle version, skim through the Kindle version of your book, highlighting as you go, export that highlight file, and then just put that into Excel, and you're pretty much there. We
Yeah,
find for a
gotcha.
book, it's going to take you probably on the order of 2 hours to do your book. But here's the key. Once you've uploaded those tips, you never have to go back and do something week after week. It is in the server forever. It is
Yeah, we lost you for there a minute.
yeah, look like there's a little pause, but I think we're back.
Yeah, I think we're back. So we left off where we were uploading it into Excel, and the summary of the book was in Excel, and then we loaded it into the server, and then there was no need to come back, and then you froze.
Because what you're doing is amortizing that initial work over the lifetime of the app. So that little bit of little bit of effort, let's say
Yeah.
the 2 hours you took to take your book and extract the tips, those tips just get shown over and over for years on end with no additional effort on your part. So it's much more efficient on social media because when you do a post today, that post goes away. I say, well, I should post it again, or I should talk about this again. With the app, we always know which of your tips that you put on just once, when should it be shown to whom or shown again, because the audience is driving saying, this is what I need right now. So it's much more efficient in the long run. And by the way, one of my favorite features on the app, we know people like to share quotes, quotes from a show they heard, quotes from an expert.
Yeah, I love
Now,
quotes.
if you're lucky, maybe they'll put your name next to your quote, but don't
Right.
hold your breath.
Yeah.
With Brain Bump, every one of the tips is shareable. So the app user can click that share button and say, oh, I love this quote. I want to share it with my audience. It brings up a share screen. Now they can change certain things. They can change the layout because we know some social media prefers landscape, some portrait.
Right.
They can adjust the colors, the font, the sizing. But no matter how they adjust it, not only does it have the quote, it has your name, the source, your podcast or your book. It has the cover image. So your brand is always shown next to your quote. And then if you share with us, you, the content creator, share with us your social media handles, which pretty much everyone does, you can let the app user tag you in that post. So now
Oh,
when I
nice.
share a quote from you with my friends, you're tagged, you're part of that conversation, you're engaging with now this new potential extended audience.
Gotcha. And so that helps you spread your it's a networking ability built into the app. That's awesome.
In
Um,
fact, for some people, this is how they share on social media because instead of you saying, oh, what do I want to post? Put your tips onto the platform. You can share your own quotes that come with your branding
right.
in mere seconds from the app.
Nice. Now, and so we're really digging into the app. So is the long form content also linked to the quotes and things like that? So that potentially people can go and then consume the it's like a YouTube short, I'm thinking. People, you have these shorts or an Instagram reel or a TikTok, which leads back to the long form, which is really where you want people to consume the rest of it to hear the rest of the story. Is that part of it?
That's exactly right. Every one of your tips is linked back to wherever you want them to go. Now, for a book, that's usually just your website. And to be honest, for books, most people don't go to the book website that often. But
Yeah.
for a blog post, for a podcast episode, we have linked from the bottom back to the original source. For a blog post, it goes to the article. For a podcast episode, maybe you're sending them to Apple or Spotify or YouTube, or you have a page per episode on your website. Whichever one you want to use, you
Right.
get to choose and you guide them back there. So what's great is someone says, I'm looking for marketing advice, and they're searching through a tag or maybe something specific like LinkedIn profile or SEO of something. They can follow those tags, get the content that they need right now. And when they see the tip and they say, oh, this is really good advice. Okay, I like this. I get the idea. I just wish I could go a little deeper on it or go further or get the examples. Oh, you know what? This is episode 27 of the Lead Machine Growth Show. So I'm going to click that and you're going to take them all the way to episode 27. Now, that
Yeah.
episode might have come out 2 days ago, 2 months ago, or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
because most people probably aren't looking at your episodes from 2 years ago. But the
No.
app, because it's not ordered by time, will take them to what's relevant regardless of when it came out. And an
That's cool.
important
Yeah. Go ahead.
important note, people often say, well, oh, this is like social media. We're the exact opposite. Social media wants to suck you into the app and just keep you there, keep you on that doom scrolling.
Right.
The purpose of Brain Bump is to get you off the app as quickly as possible. You either get the information you need and say, I'm good, close the app, go on with your day, or, okay, I like this information, but I want to go deeper to the source. Let's get them off the app to that source. We do not want people scrolling, scrolling through the app. It's the opposite design.
Right. And that's why you have the tagging, the index, and the summaries and all of that. And so those who are listening today or in the future, this is what he just said was how leading back to your website or to your assets is exactly how you can monetize this. Because you can have them go to a landing page or to, like you said, like your episode on Apple or on your website, and that's where people can engage with you further. Are there other engagement mechanisms built into your app?
We also support lead magnets,
Okay.
one for emails and one for calendars. So in your profile, you put your profile on the server, and then when people see your content, they can look at your profile. And you might have, for example, let's suppose you're a career coach. You might have a book a free 30-minute resume review with me. And we'll have that link right there. You say it's 30-minute resume review. Here's the link. And in the app, they'll see resume review. They can click the link, go right to your scheduling tool and book a meeting with you. Likewise, if you have some other type of lead magnet, like a free giveaway, here's my 50 free career tips. You put that there and they say, oh, 50 career tips. They click there and you go to that landing page where they sign up to get your tips, get on your email list.
Right. And in the introduction and what little bit of discussion that we've had, this also supports multiple media. So does it support audio and video as well? How does that work?
Right now, the app is just text in the app and your cover image.
Okay.
We do have plans to support other forms of content, but right now they'll click through to your podcast episode. There's not an audio clip from the podcast episode, but they can click through to your other media.
That I think that would be useful because there's a lot of YouTube content creators that are going, oh, wait a minute, when is that going to be available? Because I mean, think YouTube Shorts and short form content. Like you're definitely onto something with this micro content idea, because that always draws me into something deeper. Or I might just scroll and go, oh, that's a topic I'm interested in and I want to learn more. And so I'll go out and learn some more. So that would be real useful to have additional media involved. But you certainly can. You can summarize your YouTube Shorts or your YouTube long form content and have links to it in the app. Correct?
That's exactly it. Pull
Yeah.
out the quotes, put that in there, and link back to it. One of the challenges is this app is completely free. It is free for the app user. It is free for the content creator. So it also means we grow as much as I can devote time and money to it.
Oh, gotcha. And so, are there advertisers involved? How does this get funded? Is this a project that for humanity, for the common good? What is it? What's your
No
motivation for that?
advertising. We do not sell data. It is for the good of humanity. Now, we are looking at ways to do some sort of monetization just to cover costs, but the
Yeah.
goal is that the app itself will always be free. And we want content creators to be able to put their content on there and get metrics about how their content is doing and the engagement all for free. We do not want to gate it. We want this to be out there so your content can reach lots of people and help lots of people.
And so, and speaking of people and how it's helping, how are people adopting it? How are they liking it? Are they sharing it? Are they spreading the word? How does that the distribution of the app happen? And can you talk a little bit about some successes that people have had? And it's a lot of questions there, but that's
Sure.
how I roll.
Now, we're recording this in the spring of 2024. We
Yeah.
do have thousands of users using it. We have zero marketing budget because it's all out of my pocket, and I'm
Uh-huh.
fine with that, but I don't have a lot of money to spend on marketing techniques.
Right.
People do hear about it from events I do, from podcasts. What we're finding is that as we get more content creators, that brings more content consumers. The analogy I use, if you remember the old stone soup parable.
Yeah.
So in this parable, these soldiers come to town and they're starving. They're knocking on doors. Everyone says, no, I don't have food. So one of the soldiers says, okay, we're going to do stone soup. Trust me, this is really good soup. We're going to get 3 big stones, go to the center of town, put it in the big pot in the fire pit in the center of town. Think like 18th century towns. And we're going to make stone soup. As he does this, all the villagers come out. How do you make soup out of stones? This makes no sense. And they're all watching, saying, oh, this is going to be amazing. Don't worry, there's enough for everyone. But if only I had a couple carrots. Boy, don't worry, stone soup's good, but if you just have a few carrots. Someone says, well, maybe I've got a few carrots. Says, oh, perfect, perfect. But what would go well with the carrots? Couple onions. And slowly each person puts in just a little. And of course, by the end, you've got soup.
Right.
And so that's what we see here, because when a podcaster comes on to the platform and says, here's the tips for my podcast, what happens is his audience will show up saying, oh, this is great. I've been wanting to better remember what I'm learning in all these episodes. They go in one year out the other. Fantastic. I love it. Hey, what else is on Brain Bump? So they come and they download his tips. They look around and they find someone else's blog. And when that blogger brings her audience, they go, great. We love your blog. This helps me remember. What else? And they find someone else's book. And so as each person, each content creator joins, we find our app users don't just look at that one thing, they look at others. So the more content creators we get, the more of an overall audience we get as well. And it's a win for everyone.
Gotcha. That's an awesome way to do it. It's like Jesus and his disciples and how the word spread to the ends of the earth. So where do you see the future of this? I mean, I know this is a passion project of yours, and so where do you see the future of this and also of content delivery?
Let me take the latter first.
Yeah.
Because we're at a unique point in history. Historically, there was that geotemporal disconnect from where you received information to where you need information. You might be in class or a workshop or training program or reading a book or listening to the radio, but that's separated in time and space from when you needed those ideas, because you're probably not carrying the book with you. Maybe it's on your bookshelf in the office, but even then, I have to open it up and flip through the pages. You had that disconnect. Thanks to the cell phone, we have access to all information at all time.
Yeah.
The challenge, and this is where Evernote's slightly misaligned. In theory, I have it all in my emails. I have it all in Evernote, in Google Docs. But if you have to say, hold on a second, and spend 20, 30 seconds clicking around trying to find it, forget, not happening. Just like we know with a web page, people give you 2 seconds, 3 seconds, maybe 4. If that web page is taking 6, 7, 8 seconds, you've lost them.
Right.
And so we have a 7-second rule that you should be able to retrieve the information you want in under 7 seconds. And so this was our design. It's for the information retrieval where we're optimized. And so by allowing people to quickly and efficiently retrieve information when and where it's needed, and that's where the cell phone that's always with us lets us always get the information when and where we need it. That's a game changer in terms of how we're consuming information, that now we don't have, well, I learned it here and then, and I hope I remember it here and now. Now we can bridge that gap. So the app itself, we obviously hope to continue to grow. We want to get more content creators putting their content on there. We want more content users. We want to keep it free for everyone. Where we will likely go to have the support is because the content's free for everyone. If you put it on there, your podcast, your book, that's available to everyone in the world using the app, which most people want. I want to reach a larger audience.
Yeah.
If you have proprietary content, think about corporate training. You say, I like this. I'm tired of my people. We fly them all into a 3-day training program. They fly back to their offices. And by the time they're off the plane, they forgot most of what we did. Boy, this app would help them retain it, would let us get better ROI for all that money we're spending, but only for our people. We don't want to be for everyone, just for our employees. Okay, you know what? Let's work something out. And we're looking at different models where you can pay some costs for that, and that will cover our operating costs so we can keep everything else, everything that's public, available for free to the public.
Right. And you mentioned the distribution channel. That's what this is. This is a distribution channel, like social media, like the newspaper, like radio, like television, like cable, all those different distribution channels. So this is just yet another one. And those other ones, like you said, are sequential, and they're there when, well, of course, if you dial up a movie on Netflix, obviously you can listen to it on demand, but it's sometimes hard to find something that you want to watch on Netflix because you have to scroll through it to find it. I mean, of course, they do have some filters and things, but you still are scrolling. So that's a really innovative way to tag information and make it available. Now, the other thing that you mentioned that we mentioned at the top was this coral, this plant. Can you tell us about that? That's another passion project of yours. I see a theme there going on.
Plant a Million Corals. It's a 501c3 organization. We're based down in the Florida Keys. The founder, Dr. David Vaughn, and his family, Donna and Dee Dee Vaughn, he said, I know how to fast grow coral, and we can pick certain breeds of coral that are more resistant to higher temperatures. As you and your listeners may know, we get these bleaching events because the oceans are warming. What happens is the coral itself bleaches and ultimately dies. And coral, those are really the cities of the oceans. Coral is where all the marine life, or at least a lot of it, really gathers. So if we're losing our coral, it's kind of like if we're getting rid of all the cities, and that's going to have a real detrimental effect on the ecosystem of the ocean and really the whole world.
The whole world, yeah.
So we've got this method for fast growing coral. We've been increasing the amount of coral year after year. We should hit 1 million corals shortly, and then we're going to start planting it in the oceans. But of course, we're not going to stop at just 1 million coral. We're going to keep going way, way beyond it.
Yeah.
We do have to be careful. We only want to plant coral native to an area. So in the Florida Keys, we only want coral found there. In Australia, we only want coral native to that area. We're also looking at potentially doing a type of coral seed bank. If you remember the World Seed Bank, in case of catastrophe, we have a seed bank where they have all the different seeds, and we can go back and say, okay, good thing this survived. We're looking at building up that type of facility so we can keep different species of corals from different areas. So if there is a bleaching event in some part of the world that wipes out a lot of the coral, we'll still have all the diversity of the different DNA to help them repopulate. And
So,
so Plant a Million Corals, wonderful, wonderful organization.
and so you grow these at a facility, and then you plant it, or is it you're storing it up and to plant it sometime in the future? How does that work?
We have coral nurseries. The way to think of it, now coral is an animal. It's a little plant-like as well.
Yeah.
And so if you think about plants, you don't just, well, leave the seeds out and hope they survive. You want to let them grow enough before the deer eat the little saplings. You want to grow them in a nursery, and then you can take them out and plant them once they're a little stronger on their own. So we have our nursery where we're growing the coral, and then once they're at an appropriate stage of growth, go out and plant it in the ocean now that they're ready to survive on their own and, of course, continue to grow.
Wow. And how did you fall into that passion project?
I go to an event called Renaissance Weekends, different from Renaissance fairs. I do Renaissance fairs sometimes as well, but Renaissance Weekend, it's more akin to a TED Talk. I've been going to this for many years, and I remember meeting David, and I'm talking with David along with a few other people, and he mentioned he could do this. He's a marine biologist, was getting close to retirement, and mentioned he could do this, was trying to decide if he wanted to do anything. And myself and the other people talking to him said, you don't have a choice. If you can save the coral, you have to do it. He
Right.
said, well, I can do the science, the hassle of running some type of organization. We said, we will do that for you. We're glad to use our skills in that way if that frees you up so you can do what the world needs.
Wow. That's amazing. I've never heard of that. But
Well,
that's
please spread the word. You can go to Plant a Million Corals on the web and learn more about us. We've got some great videos, some great information. If you're down in the Florida Keys, we're going to start up as well a way to visit the farm so you
Mm.
can learn more about it. And of course, support a wonderful 501(c) nonprofit organization, Plant a Million Corals.
Wow. That's amazing. So, I think we're getting close to our time together. Really appreciate you being here. What are three things, as we wrap up, what are three things that our listeners can do to put these ideas in micro content into action?
Take your existing long form content. Number one, chop it up into micro content. That might be pulling out quotes or video clips or audio clips or very short form pieces, but you want to start pulling out micro content. So step one is creating that micro content. Step two is tagging it so you understand relevancy. It's not just, hey, let me blast you now with 10 times the amount of content because I've chopped it into 10 pieces. That's just going to frustrate your audience. You want to create tagged, categorized micro content. And then step three is having a channel where you can let your audience select the right micro content that is relevant for them. Brain bump is one way to do this, but there are other ways to do this
Yeah.
using your CMS, using existing email delivery tools. And this way your audience says, I only care about at this moment 10%, 15% of your content. I want to focus on that because the rest right now, it's kind of noise to me. And this way I can focus on what's relevant and get lots of value from your brand.
Right. And what he just said is content repurposing, really. And you should be doing this, and you may already be doing it. If you're listening in, if think YouTube creators, brand, if we're making shorts out of our long, excuse me, we're making shorts out of our long form content, but we're taking it a step further. We're not just sharing it on social media and have it one and done. We're giving it new life. That's exciting. That's having your short form content live a lot longer or forever is very appealing. So content creators, pay attention to this. So as we wrap up, how can we get more information about this? And you said the app is free. So how tell us about that. And it's available, I assume, on Android and iOS. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In both of the app stores, Android and iOS, you can find the Brain Bump app. You can also go to our website, brainbumpapp.com. There you can learn more about the app. There's a 90-second video showing how the app works, an FAQ answering hopefully all your questions. If you are a content creator, you can click the form button down at the bottom of the page. Will take you to the bottom, and there's a little form. Take 30 seconds to fill it out. If you're saying, I am interested in having my content on the app, that'll just give us your name, your email, so we can look you up and be in touch. It is 100% free. It is free for the app users, your audience, to use it. It is free for you to put your content on there and get all the metrics so you can see the engagement and what in your content is resonating with your audience. 100% free. And all of this at brainbumpapp.com.
Right. That's awesome. And just another, as you were talking about that, are there resources that for content creators that teach them how to tag and to do this, to get their content so that it's optimized for your platform?
Great question. We have full instructions. This isn't public on the website, but if you reach out to us, we have full instructions, how the server works, how to set everything up. We have written, we have video, but it also has advice, how to think about what makes a good tip or a bad tip, how to think about tagging your content. So we've got all this guidance there, and we're happy to talk to you. We also have third parties who can do some of this for you. So we have people we know on Upwork. If you're saying, I like this idea, I don't have time, you might
Yeah.
have a virtual assistant who can do it. But if you don't, we have people now, it's 2024 when I'm saying this, people who for about $40 will take your book, give them a Kindle copy of the book, and they'll pull out the stuff for you. They'll extract it all for you. They'll
Right.
tag it. We put you directly with them because we're free. I don't even have a bank account or a way to take credit cards. We
Yeah.
say, go talk to this person. We'll put you in touch. You hire them through Upwork. They'll do it all for you. So we try to make it as easy as possible.
I love that. And yeah, you should be, if you're looking to get more distribution channels, and this is a no-brainer, uh, getting your content out there, you should check it out. That's brainbumpapp.com. So check it out. And Mark, thanks so much. I appreciate it, you coming today, and your amazing app, and your Plant a Million Corals is really cool too. So thanks
Thank you. I'm
again.
glad we got to talk about both.
Yeah. So remember, faith and action go hand in hand. So keep the pedal to the metal. Until next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show, I'm Paul Guyan and Marc Hirshberg. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lead Machine Growth Show with Paul Guyan, where we show you how to tackle your tech, master your message, and design your dream so that you can transform your vision into reality. Remember to visit our website at www.leadmachinegrowthshow.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Lead Machine Growth Show. And then